I don't like kids. I know that's blunt and to the point, but it's the truth. I've always had bad luck with children. I'm getting a little older now, and I need to decide within the next few years if I want kids of my own. I spent the first half of the year trying to spend as much time with my brother and my nephew as possible, just to spend some time around children. A few months back, I got an opportunity to babysit one of my coworker's children. A year ago, I would have turned this down instantly, but because I was trying to be more open-minded about kids, I agreed to watch the child for a few hours. Not to mention, I needed the extra money. I was relieved to find out that the child wasn't a baby like my nephew. He was 7 years old and loved playing games. Now, this is a fun age, at least for me. We played outside for a while and nothing seemed weird or out of the ordinary. It started to rain, so instead of getting all wet and muddy, we decided to go inside. He started to get a little moody when we went inside. I tried to think of the games that I liked when I was that age, and I thought about hide and seek. That was my favorite game when I was a child, and I even played it with my friends when we were in high school from time to time. And he loved the idea. I was surprised that he never played hide and seek before I even suggested it, and I had to explain the rules to him, and once he understood the game, he couldn't wait. I tried to make the game seem like some type of adventure, just to give it some extra flair. We played a few rounds, and he started to yell at me that I was hiding in spots that were too easy to find. On his next turn to seek, I went up to his bedroom and hid underneath his twin bed. Not the greatest spot, but he is only 7 after all. I heard him shout, "Ready or not, here I come." I could hear him running back and forth downstairs, and I even heard him giggling, and I was just happy that he was having fun. A few seconds later, I happened to turn my head and notice the most horrifying thing I'd ever seen. There was some messed up looking lady just standing at the window. I instinctively gasped and covered my mouth. The lady didn't notice me. She was just standing in front of the window, not doing anything at first. Then she leaned over and cupped her hands on the window, trying to look in. I was terrified that she was going to notice me because of the angle of the window, but thankfully she did not. I started to freak out because I didn't want the child to walk into the room and be scared of this random woman. And everything inside of me was telling me to just get up, grab the kid, and leave, but I was paralyzed in that moment. And the nightmare kept getting worse. The woman started to budge at the window. She was clearly trying to open it. I ruled out the possibility of it being someone familiar because she kept doing the classic look over the shoulder like she knew what she was doing and that it was clearly wrong. The woman gave the window a few more hard budges, but the window wasn't moving. She looked both ways and then she was gone. I just about jumped out of my skin because not even 10 seconds later, the little boy jumped onto the floor and shouted, "I found you!" I shrieked so loud that the poor kid jumped. So I didn't know if this woman was still outside, or even worse, still trying to break in. I was trying to think quickly on my feet, and I decided to take the kid for ice cream since we were in the middle of summer. I swiftly ran to the garage, opened the door, and drove as fast and as far as I could away from that place. I didn't see anyone outside as I pulled away, but I didn't look that in-depth to be fair. I know I probably should have just called the cops in that moment, but the kid was having so much fun that I didn't want to traumatize him right there and then. I was terrified, and I wouldn't want the kid to feel even a fraction of that. The thought was still lingering in my mind that it was possible that this woman was related or something to them, but I didn't want to take that chance, especially after the sketchy demeanor of this weirdo. When we got to the ice cream shop, I texted the boy's mother immediately and told her everything that happened. I was looking over my shoulder constantly trying to make sure that we weren't followed. The mother called the police, which made me feel immediately better, and the mother and the cop met us at the ice cream shop. We never told her son what happened and just played it off that the police officer was a friend of his mother's. I stepped away with the officer and gave her a description of the woman. After receiving this description, the mother was horrified that she didn't recognize that woman at all. She went and stayed with her mother for a few weeks, but they have since moved back into that house. They never caught the woman, and as far as she knows, nobody had ever tried to break in again. She bought cameras for the house, and she's actively thinking about moving just because the nightmare of that woman is too much for her to handle. Months later, she still thanks me all the time for handling that situation as well as I did, and as much as she would have liked for me to call the police right away to catch the woman, she appreciated that I was thinking about her son first and foremost. I have nightmares all the time now thinking about that demented face looking through the window. Even though she appreciates what I did, I still feel so much guilt about the situation. I feel like I should have just called the authorities then. What would you have done, though? Would you have called the police? Maybe I should have just confronted the woman. I'm just happy the boy is all right, and I hope that woman never comes back again.